In this video, we will discover the following findings: the importance of SIEM monitoring for failed authentication attempts, the importance of privileged access management for regular password rotation, the importance of complexity or salting within passwords, also known as password complexity, and the importance of not utilizing default accounts. The scope: we will perform a brute force or dictionary attack via the local administrator account on a Windows Server 2012 R2 server. The following tasks will be completed in this exercise. We will scan the subnet to ascertain devices, open ports, and operating system versions. We will also run the brute force attack with the following parameters: the local administrator account and the rocku.txt dictionary file, which contains over 14 million passwords. In this white hat experiment, we will be utilizing two virtual machines installed over Oracle VM or Oracle VirtualBox. On the left, we have a Linux Kali device with an IP address of 10.10.10.20, and we will be utilizing the pre-installed toolsets of Nmap and Hydra to initiate the attack. On the right, the target is a Windows Server 2012 R2 domain controller named testdc01 on the domain coffee.local. The IP address of this device is 10.10.10.22, and we will be initiating a brute force attack, also known as a dictionary attack, utilizing the local administrator account from the Windows Server over the SMB protocol. To begin with this white hat exercise, I have my domain controller labeled as testdc01 on the coffee.local domain with an IP address of 10.10.10.22. In the background, we have the security logs open and we can see no audit failures of recent. I'll now go back to Linux Kali device and open the root terminal emulator. The first thing I will do is scan the network for the operating system types and open ports. Now this can take some time to complete, so in the short term I'll just pause this recording. The scan is now completed and we have found a device of 10.10.10.22 on the network with port specifically various ports, but we can see a specific port of 445 which is utilized for SMB. We can also note the Microsoft Windows 2012 R2 operating system. So in this instance, we know that the administrator account is a default account that is enabled with this operating system, and we also know that we can contact this target on the port of 445. This is what we require to start the brute force password attack or dictionary attack. To start off with, I'll go to the parent directory and make a directory labeled as White Hat Down Under. I'll now make a copy of the rocku.txt password list, which comes as a default with the Linux Kali operating system. Okay, there's a typo there, excuse that. Great. Now what I'm going to do is display that the password I'm utilizing, which is Metallica1 with a capital M, is present within the rocku.txt document. And as we can see, it is at the top there. Now, from memory, this password is a few 100,000 or a few million down the list. To expedite this process and to show that it does work successfully, I'm going to enter that password on the fourth line of the password list of rocku.txt. Can take some time to open. Now just above password, I will enter our Metallica 1 password. I'll then press escape, hold shift and press colon, enter WQ, exclamation in lowercase and press enter. This may take time to come back, so I'll pause the video in the interim. Oh, I didn't need to pause it. There we go, it came back relatively quick this time. Now the next thing I'm going to do is initiate the brute password attack with the Hydra command. Now we'll be utilizing the username of administrator and referencing the password file of rocku.txt. We'll also be initiating this on the IP address of 10.10.10.22 and with the SMB protocol. As we have placed this password fourth in the list, within the security logs in the Windows 2012 server, we should see 3 failure attempts followed by a success attempt. Now in this line we enter the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.10.22, followed by the protocol. Now one thing to note is that we are targeting the SMB protocol as we have established this port is open and accessible on this particular device. Now if this was, for example, a Linux device with the same IP address, but we found that the SSH port was open, which is port 22, we would use the SSH protocol as opposed to the SMB protocol. Now we press enter. Now what we can see here is it was able to complete the attack on port 445, which is SMB of the target of 10.10.22 with the username administrator and the password of Metallica1 with the capital M. Now one thing we will also note, if I do a refresh here, we note 3 failure attempts, which was the first 3 passwords, followed by a success here from the source of 10.10.10.20, which was the Linux Kali device. During a brute force attack, we would see hundreds of thousands or millions of these audit failures. SIEM monitoring would actually pick this up.